The things we're doing now would have been unimaginable by my grandfather 50 years ago, and now we're doing it. Welcome. My name is Glenn Goodrich. We have been in the maple business for a long time, but here at Eden, Vermont, we're now tapping 140,000 trees here. It's on a parcel of 6,000 acres. We handle on a good day 250,000 gallons of sap and turn it into 5,000 gallons of maple syrup. I actually took over the maple part of our farm in 1979, and that was really the start of tubing to collect sap. So I kind of became a leader in tubing technology. Making maple syrup on the level that we do now just didn't happen 10 years ago. So this is all new technology, and the systems we used in our smaller woods just didn't work as well here. So we got together with Farm Blocks and came up with a strategy as to how we can do that. Really what it comes down to is saving employees. We have a leak in our system. It's on 6,000 acres. Where in that 6,000 acres might it be? So you search this whole 6,000 acres. That's what we did years ago. And with this technology, it allows us to pinpoint very closely where to go to do that search. And so one person could go and take care of a problem that you might have sent your whole team to search the entire network on. And so it's days and days of saved time. Yeah.
So my name's Chris Elliott. I've worked for Goodrich's Maple Farm for 9 years now, and I run the woods crew up here. We just realized that this property was ideal for how Farm Blocks works. So from the sugar house to our furthest tap, it's about 5 miles. We cover 6,000 acres with 6 base stations that gets monitor coverage through our entire woods, and it just works really well. And not to mention, I can do all that from my house. So we don't go to them to turn them off and on. We don't go to change the batteries, and not to have to go to every sensor every year, twice a year, to turn it off and turn it back on. Really much less labor overall. With a Farm Block system, we put up one monitor on the end of every main line. A lot of competing systems offer double monitors and triple monitors, which means you run a tubing line, a lateral line, between main lines to one monitor. When we put the Farm Block sensor in, we're putting maybe a foot of tubing. It's a lot less to get chewed on and leak, because even though there's no sap in it, it's tubing that still needs to be maintained within the system, and it can still have problems. So that's actually something I've grown to really like. The vacuum sensor is separate from the box where the battery is. So liquid can never get in between the two. We're not trying to make this little box vacuum tight, it's just weather tight, which is far easier. And then if something goes wrong, each piece of it is replaceable. The vacuum monitor itself is actually two types of monitors. We get a vacuum reading and we also get a temperature reading. And for us here, that's really critical because we go from 800 feet elevation up to 2,600 feet. So knowing the temperature in an area of the woods is pretty important to us. We look at the temperature quite often. Some areas of the woods will be froze up and we don't go there. Some areas are thawed out and running and we're able to go there. So it's a really useful tool. So there's kind of two parts to the installation. There's the in the woods part, and then there's the cataloging them part and entering them into the app. And we write the system and the main line on the monitor. It's fast. We can enter in more monitors than most people will ever buy in half a day, sitting at the table. This is our main pump station here at Eden. This station takes in 100,000 taps. So these are our 2 tanks. They fill up and pump based on these float switches, but sometimes we want to activate the pump remotely before the float switch trips. And so that'll be really handy to do from the sugar house or from my house through the app. And we have a tank monitor on each of these. See the box right here, and this is the tank monitor to tell us how much sap is or isn't in the tanks.
Knowing the levels in the tanks, how fast sap is coming in, and how much room do I need to make for that sap coming in. And then by graphing, I can determine whether the sap is going to continue to flow through the night or it's going to stop at 8 o'clock. That's a huge benefit from my aspect of the project. Then being able to switch on pumps. When we go into a freezing mode here, we want to pump the last sap over the mountain at the exact right time. And prior to this ability, we have traveled to the station, physically turn on a switch, and it's a 3-mile one-way trip to get there. So to be able to switch on from here is a huge benefit. It impressed me that this company is operated by real people that really go out into the woods and help us with various aspects of the installation and operations.
We also liked that they were a newer company and willing to work with us on ideas. I think it was, 4 weeks ago, I texted Will. We were having an issue with the bungees on a extra large, a big anchor tree. You'd stretch the bungee so much that it wasn't holding the monitors quite as good. And I made a suggestion on how we might fix it, and our next shipment of sensors is going to have an updated bracket. So yeah, really great to see our feedback put right into place. It's not just customer and supplier. We're really working together to make the product as a whole better. Anybody can benefit from vacuum monitoring. Even if you only have a vacuum monitor on your releaser and a tank monitor, that's peace of mind at home and lets you go to sleep. One frozen saddle on a main line could easily pay for a monitor in a year. 100 or 100,000 tabs. Doesn't matter. Everybody should have monitoring.
When I first started in the maple world, we were making a gallon of maple syrup from 5 trees. And that was ahead of most people's technology. Now we're working to make a gallon of maple syrup from 2 trees. And it's a reachable goal. And FarmBlock's team has expertise that allows that to happen. So that's what they've done. They've really stepped into this, and together we're moving forward in rapid fashion.